Shri Gurudev ki jai. Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Bhaktivedānta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gokṣaras Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanat Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopatata Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Madar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshanda ki jai. Namachay Shri Haridas jai. Prem se kaho Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shiksheta Mandal Gaura Mandal Vraja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrindevi ki jai. Shri Bhakti ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Samata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Uh-oh, it says I'm having connection issues. Dang it. Dandavat pranams Ganga Didi and Rup Manjari Didi. Alright, so I'll just jump right into it. What did we leave off with yesterday? Okay. Yep. Auspicious Invocation. This is chapter 5. Anarpita chirim chirat karunaya vatirna kalo samarpayitum unato jvala rasang swabhakti shriyam hari purata sundara dyuti kadamba sandhi pitaha sada hridaya kandare spurato va shachi nandanaha. It's the first verse of, fourth verse from the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. May that Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Shachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. This verse, the Mangalacharan, auspicious invocation of Srila Rupa Goswami's Vidagdha Madhav, was written by him in order to fulfill the wishes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. While Srila Rupa Goswami was traveling from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri, he came to the village named Satyabhamapur. There, in the final part of the night, he had a dream. If at this time of night a person wakes from a dream, the dream may be true, and for exalted devotees, certainly their dreams are true. Srimati Radhika's dreams, Shri Krishna's dreams, and the dreams of pure devotees are never imaginary. Srila Rupa Goswami dreamt that a celestially beautiful lady approached him and gave him this instruction. Amar natak pratak koroho rachan, Amar kripate natak hoy be vilakshan. Write a separate drama about me, she said. By my mercy, it will be extraordinarily beautiful. Do not make one book, make two books, one for Vraj and one for Dwarka. Do not mix them. Srila Rupa Goswami realized that this was actually Krishna's queen, Satyabhama, speaking to him. After having that dream, Srila Rupa Goswami considered, it is the order of Satyabhama that I write a separate drama for her. I have brought together in one work all the pastimes performed by Lord Krishna in Vrindavan and Dwarka. Now I shall have to divide them in two dramas. That's from Antya Lila, chapter 1, verses 43 to 44. When he arrived in Puri, he met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who gave him the same instruction. Do not take Rajendra Nandan Krishna out of Vrindavan. And this is, now we're reading from the same chapter of Antya Lila, 65 to 71. On the next day, when Srila Rupa, when they should write purport when it's a purport. And there should be an M dash. Okay. On the next day, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to see Srila Rupa Goswami, the omniscient Lord spoke as follows. Oops, that's not purport. Sorry, guys. The Lord spoke as follows. Do not try to take Krishna out of Vrindavan, for he does not go anywhere else at any time. The Krishna known as Yadu Kumar is Vasudev Krishna. He is different from the Krishna who is the son of Nanda Maharaj. Yadu Kumar Krishna manifests his pastimes in the cities of Mathura and Dwarka. But Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, never at any time leaves Vrindavan. After saying this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to perform his noontime duties, leaving Srila Rupa Goswami somewhat surprised. Satyabhama ordered me to write two different dramas, Srila Rupa Goswami thought. Now I understand that this order has been confirmed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Formerly, I wrote the two dramas as one composition. Now I shall divide it and describe the incidents in two separate works. I shall write two separate invocations of good fortune and two different introductions. Let me think deeply about the matter and then describe the two sets of incidents. This is the Russian form of quotation marks. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila. Okay. So my Gurudev again. Let me just see who else is here. Dandavat Pranams Braj Kishore Prabhu and Madhavi Didi. Hari Bol. So Gurudev says, what is the meaning? One should not take Krishna, Vrindavan Krishna to Dwarka and Mathura. In Tattva, Krishna and his manifestations are all one. There is no difference at all. But by Rasa Vichar, by the vision of Ras, Rajendra Nandan, Shri Krishna in Vrindavan as a son of Nanda Maharaj, and Vasudev Nandan, Shri Krishna in Dwarka as a son of Vasudev Maharaj, are not the same. The son of Nanda Maharaj and the son of Vasudev are not the same by Ras. An ordinary person or a Kanishta Adhikari could not have understood this, but Srila Rupa Goswami grasped the meaning at once. Srila Rupa Goswami is an Uttam Adhikari, and of course all tattvas are revealed to him. But even a Madhyam Adhikari in the line of Srila Rupa Goswami can understand. In Srila Rupa Goswami's first book, Vidagdha Madhav, he wrote the Mangala Charan beginning Anarpita Charim Chirat. While he lived in Puri, he resided in the cottage of Srila Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was so humble that he would not go to the Jagannath temple for darshan. Instead, he offered his full obeisances from afar. I am so wretched, he considered. As a Muslim, I have no good qualities and I am impure. Following the humble mentality of Srila Haridas Thakur, Srila Rupa Goswami considered, because I am a servant of a Muslim king, I am also like a Muslim. One day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Haridas Thakur's cottage with all of his associates, including Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Sarup Damodar, and Rai Ramananda, to meet with Srila Rupa Goswami. In that very learned assembly, Rai Ramananda asked, "What books are you writing? Please show us. Please recite the first verse, the Mangala Charan." Sri Rai Ramananda said, this is from also the first chapter of Antya-lila, verses 129 to 130. And these should all be in dashes. Okay. Sri Rai Ramananda said, "Now please recite the description of the glories of your worshipable deity." Srila Rupa Goswami hesitated due to embarrassment because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was present. The Lord, however, encouraged Srila Rupa Goswami, saying, "Why are you embarrassed? You should recite it so the devotees can hear the good fruit of your writing." Although Srila Rupa Goswami was very learned, because of his humility he was shy and did not want to show his writing. However, when the devotees asked repeatedly, he agreed and recited the shloka. Anarpita charim chirat. Oh, I noticed there's a mistake here. It's Anarpita charim chirat. Okay. Sorry. Anarpita charim chirat karunaya vatirna kalo samarpaitum unatojvala rasang swabhakti shriyam hari purata sundara duti kadamba sandipita sada hridaya kandare spurato va sachinandana. May that Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Shachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation ever offered before. The most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Everyone became so happy to hear this. "How beautiful," they all said. "This verse is full of correct philosophical conclusions, Siddhanta. We never heard anything like this. We have heard so many verses, but never one like this." This is verse 141, 131. When Srila Rupa Goswami thus recited his verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disapproved of it because it described his personal glories. He expressed the opinion that it was an exaggerated explanation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "It is not a good verse. The first 3 lines of this verse are so beautiful, but Spurato va Shachinandana, may that Lord who is known as the son of Srimati Shachi Devi be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart, is like poison in milk. It has spoiled the whole thing." Sarup Damodar disagreed. "This 4th line has made the verse like condensed milk with camphor, or mishri, sugar candy. This 4th line has made it so much more tasteful." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told all the devotees, "Be merciful to Rupa Goswami so that he may know my heart and fulfill all my desires." Rare and valuable. Dandavat pranams, Raseshwari Mataji, Hari Bol. Rare and valuable. Why did Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj take this verse as one of the Mangalacharan verses of his own Chaitanya Charitamrita? He was such a greatly learned person that he could have written hundreds of verses in a very short time, in a moment. He has written so many other verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he has also written Govinda Lilamrita, which contains more than 1,000 verses. Also, in his other books, he has composed numerous excellent verses. Why then did he use this verse written by Srila Rupa Goswami? Krishnadas Kaviraj humbly thought, I am an ordinary person. I have no bhakti at all. Undoubtedly, Rupa Gosvāmī, whose Rupa Manjari and Krishna's pastimes, is a Siddha Mahapurush, a perfect self-realized soul. His glorification and prayers to Krishna will be more effective and more powerful than mine. There's a footnote here. Let me just check this. In the Gaura Ganadesh Dipika, verse 180, Srila Rupa Goswami is described to be a gopi named Shri Rupa Manjari. One second. Let me just... This should go outside the comma. It goes inside the comma if it's just referring to one word. So if this was a footnote just about the word pastimes, then it should be there. But this is because it's talking about Rupa Manjari and Krishna's pastimes. It should be outside the comma. In the same way, if we recite the prayers of devotees like Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Rupa Goswami, and Sarup Damodar, this will have more transcendental potency than if we invent our own. We do not sing kirtans of persons who are not qualified in devotion. Even though such persons may be able to create very ornamental language in English, Hindi, Bengali, or Sanskrit, still we do not sing their songs. We only sing the songs of authentic Vaishnavas. By singing and praying in this way, surely our worshipable deity will be happy. I like this point a lot, so I just want to take note of it. It's page what? Page 63. I'm just gonna, one second. Okay. Anarpita chirim chirat. Anarpita means not given, and chirat means for a long time. What was it that has not been given? And what is that long period? That long period is Lord Brahma's one day, which contains so many of our earth years. 432,000 years is the duration of Kali Yuga. Twice this, 432,000 times 2, 864,000 years, is the duration of Dwapara Yuga. Thrice this, 432,000 times 3, which is 1,296,000 years, makes Treta Yuga. And 4 times this, 432,000 times 4 equals 1,078,000 years, makes Satya Yuga. These 4 yugas together are called a Chatur Yuga. One Chatur Yuga lasts 4,320,000 years. This time cycle of 4 yugas multiplied by 71 is the Manvantar. So that equals 306,720,000 years. And there are 14 Manvantars in a day of Brahma. In this way, there are so many years in one day of Brahma, 4,294,080,000 years. And the same period is the length of his night. It had been this long since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come and given unalloyed Unatojala Rasam Swabhakti Shri. We are very fortunate to have taken birth only 500 years after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers. You want to see, we made a part for this in the documentary. Let me just open it up. One second. YouTube. I'm going to show you. It's the gift of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Where is it? It's in, let's see if I can find it. It's right. Where is it? It's in the third part. Let me just find it really quick. I think it. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
So Rupa Goswami is saying that this has not been given. Sharim Chirat means has not been given for Chirat, very long, long time. And that long time period is billions and billions of years.
One day of Lord Brahma is said to last 1,000 Chaturyugas, or 4,320,000,000 years. In the 7th Manvantar, in the 28th Chaturyuga, at the end of the Dwapar Yuga, Krishna, of all avatars, appears. Approximately 4,500 years later, in the following Kali Yuga, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears. He is Krishna himself, come to relish the prem of Srimati Radhika and to give Raganuga Bhakti, which leads to Braj Vrindavan.
Only Krishna can give that, no one else. No other avatar, no Vishnu manifestations, no others can give what he can give. And he can only give this when he is in this golden form. Even when he's in his Krishna form, he doesn't freely give this. But when he comes combined with Srimati Radhika, then he can give this.
Okay, that's it.
If someone continues to read the book...
Sorry, okay, let's go back to our reading. I'm not sure if that's okay with that, but yeah. Okay. It had been this long since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come and given unalloyed Unata Ujjvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam. We are very fortunate to have taken birth only 500 years after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers. It is only about 400 years since the time of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami, and 250 years since Srila Narottam Thakur and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur lived 100 years ago. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur left this world in 1937. It is therefore only 60 years since he disappeared from our worldly vision. It is only 30 years since our Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, disappeared. 20 years since Srila Bhaktivedānta Swami Maharaj disappeared, and Srila Bhakti Rakshak Shira Goswami Maharaj left only about 10 years ago. Spoken in 1997, so the number of years mentioned in this paragraph were counted starting from that year. We are therefore very fortunate. Neglecting to understand and follow the teachings of our acharyas and trying for this Unata Ujjvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam means that perhaps millions of births will pass before we are allowed again this opportunity. So we can't neglect it. On the other hand, if in this birth we go to a bona fide guru and become qualified, we may take our next birth on the planet and end the place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enacted his pastimes only 200 years ago. That is, at the time of Narottam Das Thakur or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Our birth after that may be where and when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is performing his pastimes with his associates. We must try to understand these truths and not think that this verse, Anarpita Charim Chirat, is false propaganda. It is as bona fide as Krishna himself. In this above-mentioned auspicious invocation, Srila Rupa Goswami writes, Karunaya Vatirna Kalo. In Kali Yuga, Sri Krishna as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this world along with his associates during the 7th Manvantar. should also go outside. 27 Chaturyuga cycles of Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga had passed, and it was during the 28th Chaturyuga cycle that he had appeared. Why did he come? Samarpayatum unatojvala rasam sabhakti shriyam. Samarpayatum means to give. What did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come to give? He gave that very precious and rare gift, which is desired even by Brahma, Shankar, Narad, and Shukadev Goswami. Just checking everything. 1 second. Hey. Dandavat Pranam Savitri Didi, and Rukmini Didi, and Prajumna Prabhu, Hari Bol. The mood of Vrindavan. Sri Uddhav, who is Sri Krishna's dear friend, minister, and advisor, also wants this precious mood. He went to Vrindavan upon Krishna's request, where he realized the glories of Nanda Baba, Yashoda, and the gopis, and especially the glories of Srimati Radhika. On one hand, he became very pleased to realize their glories, but at the same time, he felt practically hopeless. We may be pleased to see Mount Everest, which is about 30,000 feet high, but we cannot imagine what it would be like to be that high. We would become hopeless if we tried to compare ourselves with such a height. Similarly, when Uddhav came to Braj from Mathura and saw the gopis, Yashoda, and Nanda Baba exhibit their height of love for Krishna, he could not fathom such love. When he entered Nanda Baba's home, he saw him weeping in separation from Sri Krishna, whom Nanda Baba considered to be his son. Uddhav wondered, how is this? Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is greater than Nārāyaṇa, Ram, and all other incarnations. He has mercifully come to Nanda's house and is like a son to him, but actually he is not the son of anyone. He is neither the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, nor of Nanda and Yashoda. Strange that Nanda thinks Krishna to be his son. Nanda Baba then asked Uddhav, will Krishna return? Does he remember us? And he began to weep loudly. I want to forget Krishna, he said, and for this reason I go to the bank of Yamuna. But there I see so many trees and creepers, and Yamuna Devi herself, all telling me that the history of Krishna's childhood. Every place and every living creature there reminds me of Krishna. For example, Nanda would see Krishna's footprints in one place, and in another place, he would remember how Krishna roamed with the cows and how the cows automatically gave milk without being milked. Nanda Baba explained to Uddhav how he wanted to console his heart and forget Krishna, how he had left his home and gone to various places in Vrindavan. He lamented that because all the trees in these places were continually Krishna, Krishna, they made him think of Krishna even more intensely. He explains how he had gone to Raslila Stali, Vanksivat, Bandirvan, Kalia Radghat, and then to Govardhan, which had been previously lifted by Krishna. But all of these places were also crying. Even the particles of dust were crying for Krishna. Thus Nanda Baba had been weeping so continuously that he could never take any rest. Hearing this, Uddhav told Nanda Baba how fortunate he and Yashoda were to consider Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as their very loving son. And you are very affectionate to him, he said. Sometimes you chastised him, bound him, and rebuked him. You are so fortunate. Nanda Baba replied, Uddhav, previously I thought that because you have Krishna's association, you must be a very qualified person. But now I see that you are foolish, with no knowledge at all. You say I am so fortunate, but actually I am the most wretched person in this world. You say that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If this is so, it means that I could not please that Supreme Personality when he was living with me, and this is why he left me and went to Mathura. Then, to make matters worse, I could not die in separation while crying out my name as Mahārāja Dasharath did when his son Ram left us. I am not a good father. And again, Nanda Baba began to weep. Uddhav thought, oh, I should have not spoken this to Nanda. I should have not spoken to Nanda Baba like this. It was certainly very foolish of me. It was certainly foolish of me. Uddhav, the most exalted personality in the Vrishni dynasty, was very intelligent and sharp in making decisions. He was Sri Krishna's private secretary, his prime minister, servant, and loving friend. But in this situation, he was confused as whether or not he had acted correctly. He thought, I have come to console Nanda Baba, Yashoda, and the Vrajavasis, but their bitter weeping is their good fortune. I know that I am not wrong to think in this way, because Scripture confirms that if even comes in the eye of someone crying for Sri Krishna, he is certainly fortunate. Nanda Baba is weeping, so he is truly fortunate. To tell him to stop would be against Shastra. But I have also made a mistake in encouraging him to weep, because when he weeps, he suffers so much. How can I pacify him? What shall I do? Uddhav's knowledge of the scriptures describing the fortune of those who cry incessantly for Krishna was only theoretical, not practical, and for this reason he had thought it incorrect to encourage Nanda to continue weeping. He had considered this great ecstasy to be suffering. This was a very critical moment for Uddhav, who is our authority and a great devotee, but who had now become completely dumbfounded. The gopis' separation. Uddhav spent the entire night speaking with Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maya. Then, in the morning, he went to console the gopis in a nearby. This garden is presently called Uddhav Kyari. When the gopis saw Uddhav, they thought he was Akrura, Krishna's uncle, who had come to Vrindavan months earlier and had driven Krishna to Mathura on his chariot. The only outsider they had seen before was Akrura, so they thought this outside person must be that same Akrura. The word Akrura means not cruel-hearted. The gopis thought it ironic that his name was Akrura, because they considered him to be very cruel for taking Krishna away from them. Akrura has again come to this place, they assumed, but he has already taken Krishna to Mathura. Krishna is not here, so what is his purpose in coming here again in that same golden chariot? Oh, it must be that Krishna has sent him to let all the elderly gopas and gopis know that he is no longer their son, but he is now the emperor of Mathura. Akrura on that golden chariot to show us that he is an important person. He is no longer a mere cowherd boy, poor and without shoes and other opulent apparel. To show off his grandeur, he has sent his servant. One gopi said, I see that he is Sham, of blackish color, but he is not Sham. Let me just see the footnote here. Okay. I think that's better, right? I don't know, it's just an idea. Okay. Okay, sorry. He is black, but he is not that same black person. He has taken color, ornaments, pitambar, yellow cloth, and other paraphernalia, but he is not Krishna. Srimati Radhika, who is always in the highest stage of Mahabhav, did not actually see Uddhav. In her madness of separation from Krishna, she began to speak with a bumblebee, thinking that he, the bee, was Krishna's messenger. Wait, this is Akrura? I'm so confused. Oh, okay, they thought it was Akrura, but it's actually Uddhav, okay. Srimati Radhika, who is always in the highest stage of Mahabhav, did not actually see Uddhav. In her madness of separation from Krishna, she began to speak with a bumblebee, thinking that he, the bee, was Krishna's messenger. You have come drinking wine, she said to the bumblebee. This is from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, at the Krishna book, chapter 46. Bumblebee, you are accustomed to drinking honey from the flowers, and therefore you have preferred to be a messenger of Krishna, who is of the same nature as you. I have seen on your mustache the red powder of kumkum, which was smeared on the flower garland of Krishna while he was pressing the breasts of some other girl who is my competitor. You feel very proud because of having touched that garland, and your mustache having become reddish. And your mustache has become reddish. You have come here carrying a message for me, anxious to touch my feet. But my dear Bumblebee, let me warn you. Do not touch me. I don't want any messages from your unreliable master. You are the unreliable servant of an unreliable master. Sometimes Srimati Radhika was laughing, sometimes joking, and sometimes she was criticizing Krishna for being guilty of leaving them and going to Mathura. Shri Krishna, who is present in the form of the bee, tasted her mood of ecstatic separation. In this way, we see that Krishna tasted the moods of both separation and meeting. He tasted dasyaras, sakyaras, and shringaras, madhuryaras. He tasted the love. He tasted the love he felt from all his associates and devotees, and this has all been described in Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Why then did he come to this world? He was already enjoying in Goloka Vraj. Two kinds of Vraj. There are two features of Vrindavan. One is Goloka Vrindavan, and the other is Bhoma Vrindavan, Vraj on this earth. In this universe, there are many millions of planets, of which we cannot count the number. Even Brahma cannot count them, nor can Sankarshan, a manifestation of Brahma, who is the father and creator of all. Even if Sankarshan could count them, no other personality could do so. In every universe, Vraj is manifested, and each Vraj is called Bhoma Vrindavan. Krishna is always in Goloka Vrindavan with all his associates like Srimati Radhika, Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Chandravali, Shamala, Bhadra, and others like them. He plays with friends like Sridham, Sudham, Vasudham, Stoka Krishna, Lavanga, and Arjuna. And he also performs pastimes with his parents, Nanda and Yashoda. Is it Lavanga or Lavanga? I have to check that out. All these devotees are present in Goloka Vrindavan, and at the same time, they are also present with Krishna in various universes, traveling with him as in a roadshow. There is no difference between all the manifestations of Vraj in this material world and Vraj in Goloka. They are non-different and different at the same time, a transcendental truth called Achinta Bhed Abhed Tattva. The manifestations of Vraj in this world are not real. They are manifestations of that Goloka Vraj. Therefore, if they are real and if they are non-different, why do we want to go to Goloka Vrindavan? There is also a difference, and it is necessary that we carefully understand this difference. In this Bhoma Vrindavan, Siddha, fully perfected devotees, and Asiddha, not yet perfected devotees, all saw Krishna's pastimes. Duryodhana could also see some pastimes, but he could not understand Sri Krishna's identity. He thought the Lord to be an ordinary son of a Gopa, an ordinary cowherd boy. Narad Muni sees Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead and always offers him his prostrated obeisances. However, when he went to Vraj, Bhoma Vrindavan, Yashoda Maya brought her darling son and placed him at his feet. Yashoda Maya took his foot dust and said, "Your foot dust will protect Krishna." Hearing this from Yashoda Maya, Narad thought, "I should not make any problems for Krishna's pastimes by showing that I consider him to be the Supreme Lord. Let his Vraj pastimes continue." Seeing the glories of Nanda Baba, Yashoda Maya, and the gopis, Narad was trembling, fearing that he might commit an offense. He feared that if he would tell Yashoda Maya that Krishna is God, Krishna might become angry because his Nara Lila, his human-like pastimes, would be disturbed. Yashoda Maya knew more tattva, established philosophical truths, than Narad. But due to the influence of Yoga Maya, She considered Krishna her little boy who needed to become healthy and intelligent, and who needed to have any possible inauspiciousness driven away by the dust of Narad's feet. Different classes of devotees can enter in the Lord's pastimes in this Bhoma Vrindavan, whether or not they are siddha. However, after some years, the pastimes disappear and are no longer visible to persons of this world. Only siddha devotees, those whose love and affection have been perfected, can go to Goloka Vrindavan, where they will live forever and never have to return to this world. Being in Sri Krishna's association, all spiritual beings, including those who are Kaya Vyuha, expansions, Sadhan Siddha, and Nitya Siddha, will never, never, never take a material body in this world. They will never become opposed to Krishna. Because there is no Maya in Goloka Vrindavan, they can never forget Krishna. Only Yogamaya is there in the spiritual realm, helping the devotees to increase their prema for Krishna by arranging opportunities for them to serve him. Because there's no chance of falling from Goloka Vrindavan, which is a Siddha Bhumi, no conditioned soul in this world has come from there. Rather, they have come from the Tatastha line, from Karna Dakshai Vishnu. Okay. Sorry. In order to help the jivas by bestowing the greatest benediction, Samarpayatum, Shri Krishna comes here as Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I have given the explanation of this one word, Samarpayatum. Once in Brahma's day, Krishna comes to give a rare, special prema. All right, so that's our reading for today. Jai Shri Radhe. Tomorrow we will read the highest devotion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai, Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtatara Shata Shishimad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtatara Shata Shishimad Bhaktivedānta Vāman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtatara Shata Shishimad Bhaktivedānta Swāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtatara Shata Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupāda ki Jai. Nitil Pravishta Mahabhagavat Śrīla Gaurkishora Babaji Mahārāja ki Jai. Nitil Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai. Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Bhaj ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki Jai. Shri Mona Devi Ganga Devi ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyaya Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Satyavataya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Oh, and Anandini Didi, Dandavat Pranams. Rukmini, Rukmanjari Didi, Madhavi Didi, Pajumna Prabhu, Raseshwari Mataji, Bimal, Braj Kishore Prabhu, Ganga Didi. Did I already say Raseshwari Mataji? Savitri Didi. And there's so many people here. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe.